Time magazine naming Jalen Hurts one of their 100 most influential people in 2025 is amazing. It is a beautiful sight to see. I know you got some other people, a little bit mad about it. They ruffle some feathers on that jump, but look at this right here. I'm looking at a guy in Jalen Hurts that he has a Super Bowl. He has a Super Bowl MVP. That in the biggest stage, he has outplayed the GOAT of this generation in Patrick Mahomes. And Jalen Hurts, as a dual threat quarterback, became the first dual threat quarterback to win Super Bowl MVP honors. Russell Wilson ain't do that. That's influential. He plays for the Philadelphia Eagles, one of the biggest markets in the nation. He's influential. He got Lil Uzi Vert out here salty because his diamonds are more than Uzi's. That's influential. And the part that I love the most is the fact that Hurts gives back to his community. He helping the city of brotherly love, the students there, get air conditioning. That's influential. That's what it is. And so that's my guy. Y'all know how we rock. Shout out to the bros. If you don't know, now you know. Omega Sci-Fi. Look it up. Look it up. Another thing about influence, and it brings me to why when you're influential and when you do something historic, they draw comparisons to you. Michael Jordan, the GOAT, top two at worst. And then you got Anthony Edwards being compared to him. Jalen Hurts is now in a situation where they're comparing Jalen Milroe to Jalen Hurts. I find that disrespectful because Jalen Hurts coming into the 2020 NFL draft was light years ahead of Jalen Milroe. Folks forget that at Oklahoma, Jalen Hurts had 32 passing touchdowns, not total touchdowns, 32 passing touchdowns to just 8 picks. And he topped that off with 20 rushing touchdowns. So he ended his senior year with 52 total touchdowns to 8 picks. I'm not trying to assault Jalen Milroe, but having 16 passing touchdowns to 11 picks doesn't compare. Now, can Jalen Milroe be a good quarterback in this league? He can. I'm not going to write him off. But what we're not going to do is let some of these people try to act like this is some comparison. The only thing that's the same is they got the same name, Jalen, and they went to Alabama. That's the only thing that you can really compare. And I'll give you the way that they were as a dual threat quarterback in terms of they both had 20 rushing touchdowns and were dynamic in the open field. And I'd even give Jalen Milroe being more dynamic in the open field a tad bit than Jalen Hurts. But the gap in terms of throwers of the football is insane. It's pretty insane. Now, if this was a Jalen Hurts coming out of Alabama his junior year, all right, I can see that. But we clearly have seen a guy in Jalen Hurts from his junior year to his senior year flat out show up in terms of improving as a thrower of the ball. And so some of these comparisons, we got to relax. We got to. I can buy the comparison of Shador and Joe Burrow because both of them have done wonders with a below average at best offensive line. And that's got to mean something. That's why I think the Giants passing up on Shador Sanders because Joe Shane and Brian Daboll are insecure about their jobs and they want to win right now and they feel like Jameis Winston or Russell Wilson will give them a better chance to win right now and not get fired, that they will pass up on a guy that has shown time and time again that he is the truth without a running game and without a competent offensive line. And what are the Giants known for? Having an incompetent offensive line. So, as an Eagles fan, I look at the Giants potentially passing up on Shador Sanders, saying, thank you. This is why you are an incompetent franchise. This is exactly why. Because if the main issue of your team is your offensive line, wouldn't it make the most sense to draft the quarterback that has the best completion percentage in college football? That's what he had last year, with a below average offensive line. So that means he's probably most equipped out of every quarterback in this draft and or next year's draft to be successful for your bum franchise because he has had to excel under distress. I'm capping. I don't think so. That's my little trademark right there. I'm capping. I don't think so. That's what it is. That's what it is. Speaking of the NFC East, Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. Emmitt Smith, NFL legend, Cowboys legend, was pretty salty about the Eagles winning 2 Super Bowls in 7 years. And it's funny. It's like, well, they won 2 and they act like they just won the whole thing. Like, y'all got a whole lot of catching up to do. Let me break this down for you. Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith, you do realize that the last time the Cowboys got to an NFC championship game, my dad was a senior at Morehouse College. That was 5 years before I was born. I'm 23 years old. So in that time period, my dad marries my mom. My mom goes to law school. He gets his master's of divinity. They move like twice. They have me. They have my sister. They have my youngest sister. I go through elementary, middle school, high school, college. I graduate from graduate school. And then he takes me to the Eagles Super Bowl in New Orleans, and we see the Eagles win their second bowl. And in that time frame, the Cowboys ain't been to an NFC championship. So yeah, we're going to pop it. Yeah, we're going to talk. And yeah, we're going to troll. And if you don't like it, tell your bum-ass franchise to do better. Tell Jerry Jones to get out his own way. That's what it is. And fly, Eagles, fly. If we see you, it's go Birds, dickhead. Go Birds, dickhead. That's what it is. Stop playing. The Cowboys got to relax because I think their win total is like 7.5 next season. Please relax. Please pipe down. Because if Russell Wilson gets on a hot streak, y'all might have a worse record than the Giants. And that's real talk. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. One thing I love to do is troll Dallas Cowboys fans. It's an amazing thing to do. Love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Like, comment, subscribe. We are out.